LB, it's another Tuesday and time for Chris G here at the Hard Hat the CEO. Got producer Kevin in the studio. Hey Kevin, how you doing?
I'm doing very, very well. And you, my friend?
Well, we're going to help people become a CEO after being a hard hat. That's the goal today.
Always.
And you said you might have a story for me, so I want to hear it if that's possible.
Yeah. So we're nearing, I don't know exactly when this episode's going, but as of right now, we're coming up on the end of Q1.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, and I was reflecting on what are the biggest lessons I had in Q1. And one of the big lessons I had as a business owner was oftentimes, almost every time, there is a leak before there is a flood. There's a whisper of, hey,
Yeah.
something's going on. This needs to change. And unfortunately, if you don't address it fast enough, that leak turns into a big flood. So I was thinking that it might be valuable for you to share what your biggest takeaway from Q1 is. Maybe that will save somebody pain. Maybe they're going through the same thing. And I was curious to what yours was.
So, hmm, you kind of give me a heads up a little bit. You didn't tell me the story, but you did tell me there's going to be what it's going to be about. So I kind of made contemplating this, and I've had a few days to think about it. And the first thing would be, and I know this answer, but so it's something I didn't learn. It was more reinforced in the last quarter.
Hmm.
And that would be continuous marketing, whether it be advertising or social media, whatever. In the past, I have made the mistake of stopping advertising, trying to save money. It's not a big part of it's not busy here in the Missouri in the dead of winter, blah, blah, blah. And that was the wrong thing to do.
Hmm.
So I haven't done that the last couple of years, but this year it's been crazy quoting. And I know it's part of my advertising, it's part of my social media efforts and so forth. And that, not that I haven't learned that in the past, but I've really seen it shine this last quarter. Boy, after Christmas, it's just been, we haven't quoted as much as we had this year.
Hmm.
I mean, in the past, it's just one right after the other. We're busy, thinking about bringing on another crew. Talked to my guys about that the other day, and that's probably going to happen. I got 9 houses to build,
Okay.
plus our barns. Like, woo, this is great. But continuously marketing is, I think, I don't know if it's really top of mind, but I look back and I was talking. My son-in-law, he does the sales, and some of these guys are just referrals,
Hmm.
and quite a few of them are from the ads. Don't get me wrong, but it's like, wow. Actually, I take it back. I had a guy call me the other day, a friend. I don't talk to him very often, but he just, hey, you still doing that barn stuff? I said, yeah. I got a project for you, and I want you to quote. It's like, okay, and it's a big barn. He owns a good company. He wants storage, but we're friends on Facebook, and I'm sure that's where he saw it.
Yeah.
Not the ad itself necessarily, but it's just the whole thing. But keep continuously market, keep yourself top of mind. So when somebody is ready for your services, either they'll think to refer you on or actually call you up themselves.
Do you have any advice? We don't have to give actual numbers, but do you have any advice of, let's say you're running $1,000 a month ad spend in the on season? Is there a percentage you suggest in the off season?
I keep it consistent.
Yeah.
The same amount.
Okay.
That way you can budget a little bit. Now, that's not to say that if you got a little more extra money and you want more exposure, and I think it really depends on how many quotes you want and how fast you want them to come in.
Mm.
How Obviously the more you spend, the more eyeballs you're going to get, and the bigger reach you're going to have. And that's more of you have to sit down and kind of figure that out. You might there's a percentage. I've heard 10%. I've heard 5%, and I've also heard 3% of your budget numbers should go to marketing.
Okay.
And that's a wide range. I know 3 to 10. Just kind of Google for your area. I would do that too, and then talk to your bookkeeper or your accountant, whoever is doing your books for you. Look at your income statement. Figure out what you can spend. And what's also important when we're talking about marketing is return on or not return on investment, but return on market dollars, something to that effect. I know there's a name for it, but basically, what kind of return you're getting for your money.
Yeah.
Are you spending $300 and getting 3 quotes a month? Well, that's $100 a quote. Or if I spent $500, could you get 10 quotes? I mean, it just you got to figure out that number, what it is, and what you're happy with.
How
I
do
would,
you? Oh, good.
okay, I was gonna say I would start slow, low, that you know you can afford.
Yeah.
See what happens. Now, not only it's important about the money. It's also important about the ads. Get somebody who knows something about ads. You can find a virtual assistant that we actually offer those type of services, and you can pay that person minimal money, obviously compared to here in the States, that can run your ads for you.
Hmm.
And what I mean by that is my $300 with my virtual assistant who does the ads in the Philippines, they know a lot more about it than I do, and they get more bang for your buck at $300.
Right.
Now I'm paying them, yes, but if I spend $500 with the same ads and I'm still not getting the response, that's $500 I wasted where I could have spent investing in somebody that knew what they were doing.
Mm-mm.
So anyway,
How do you? And maybe you don't. I don't know. I know in a lot of other industries, sales industries, it's this way. But how do you qualify a lead when you're going to do a quote? Is there any qualification thing?
it depends on, well, I think it depends on what your industry or market is. For example, a commercial builder probably not going to advertise on Facebook.
Right.
They're going to advertise either in direct marketing or reaching out. I mean, they might be paying a salesman or even a lead generator to go out, and that person, all their job is to get leads,
Right.
and search the internet for leads or make phone calls, so forth. Also, let's say you're a remodeler, then there's different ways they're going to look for that too, where they're going to advertise and so forth. So I think it really depends on what you're doing and how much you want to spend. Commercial guys could obviously advertise in publications that people are looking for that type of product. And publication marketing is not the same as it used to be when back in the day, because not a lot of things are physical now, physical magazines or anything. So there's a lot of different things out there. I like marketing. I'm not the marketing expert. That's why I hired those guys to do that stuff. And that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%.
But I know that there's ways out. I mean, there's a lot of different things out there that they can do. LinkedIn might be a better solution for your market. You and I've talked about in the past. Join associations. Yep, that's another one. You can advertise in their deal or advertise on their websites. Then there's one of my favorite ones. Partner with somebody that if you're a concrete guy and you do your advertising, well, partner with a deck guy that you're not doing decks on, and you all guys can, decks need sidewalks and sidewalks need decks, or it's all porches. Find something that complements you but doesn't necessarily compete against you, and joint venture, and that helps your marketing as well. So,
is there any other lessons from Q1 that stick out for you?
Yeah. Actually, I got 2 more written down, but this is another one that I knew about, but kind of really strikes a little bit home. I've hired a company to help me hire. Now, hiring is not my expertise. I have a tendency to want to trust everybody and believe what they say, and nobody's lying to me until I figure out you're lying to me. Then now I'll trust you. But that being said, I saw an ad the other day. You suck at hiring. Yes, I do. Because I don't like it, and I'll hire the first person and don't necessarily do the due diligence I should.
Right.
So I hired somebody to do that for me. And I am tickled to death with the results. But the thing I remember, and people told me this before, and it's hard especially if you're a caring business owner, and I don't mean that nobody's caring, but firing people is hard to do. And they talk about hire slow and fire fast.
Yeah.
And that is tough because you're dealing with an individual who has a family who's dependent on your income. Now, if they deserve it, that's one thing. If they just do something blatant and it's like, get out of here, I don't need that.
Mm-hmm.
Versus, I've done it before where I've hired the wrong person. It wasn't their fault, it was my fault. But they can't stay. It's not doing you any good. It's causing you more stress. So, so cut the strings when you can and help them out if you can, go on. And, that's kind of it. But the best part is, I think, and we talked about it last episode. We're gonna talk about it again. Just delegate something out that you're not very good at or don't enjoy. And I don't enjoy hiring people. I like
Yeah.
working with them, but I need to work with the right person.
Yeah, I don't think that's talked about enough as a business owner, firing.
This is way back in my corporate days. I thought I was being reserved, and I go down and always taught about firing people, or that had just managing people in general.
Yeah.
Is document, document, document. That's what they drove the head in my college days and classes, and they teach you that in all those other courses. Just documentation, have it in writing in their file. It's like, okay. And I got rid of people because I had to do 2 layoffs one time, and it was awful. I hate layoffs because people didn't do anything wrong. There's not the market for it, and we can't survive with this size of payroll. And back in 2008, that's when it was actually in 2006. I was over in Europe, and we saw it coming. And things over in Europe happen usually quicker before they happen in the States. They were having troubles economy-wise, and my boss and I were over there, and we looked at each other and said, "Yeah, it's going to come to America." Well, that meant to me that if we don't do something, I'm going to have another layoff, and that's damn sure what I didn't want to do. So I started different ways of. Well, I talked them into early retirement stuff. That was the easy one, and started finding ways of if you left, we didn't refill your positions. But most importantly, if you weren't a team player, you got to go. Because when in the rules in Missouri, at least, you got to fire somebody or lay them off based on a constant. And that's just, and the constant for most people is that's who's been here longer gets to stay. But that don't mean that you're the right person to stay. It just means you've been here longer. So if you're gonna, here's the base of the story. If you have a person on your team and you think something's going to happen in the future that you're worried about your overemployment, get rid of the bad team members so you can keep the good ones, and that way you're not held down by the laws. And document. That's kind of it.
Okay.
All right. Let's talk about something more positive. I mean, not that a good firing don't make you happy sometimes, I'll tell you, but that's
right.
But we're going to talk about positive things. The last thing is we talk about as a CEO where to invest your money. And something I've learned this quarter, and I have other business I've talked about, and I talk about getting myself out of the way. And I've basically taken myself completely out of the way of this other business, online business. And over the years, I've invested money in teaching myself how to run this type of business. And I finally decided, Chris, you're not getting where you want it to be. Somebody else has to take over. My point being is that money I had spent on myself or other trainings and so forth, I should have just took that money, invested in a person that knows what the hell they're doing, and let them take over. That's what I've learned this last quarter. And we've done more in the last 3 months, and I can't say 3 years, but last 6 months by somebody knowing more about it than I do.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And I'm very pleased about it. And, take that money. You don't have to always invest in assets. You invest in something that's going to get you where you want to be. And then in this case, it's a person, a manager. You can invest in training if that's something you want to do. And obviously invest in assets. And then I think I told you in the last episode, we talked about, invest in your own business if you want to.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and I'll give you an example. I have real estate. I think I've told you that before. So I do love buying real estate. I like flipping them. I like renting them. I like selling them, all that good stuff. And sometimes you got some cash. So the cash I got to decide is it better to go out and buy another house or another property, or is it better to take that cash and cut your loan amount down and improve your cash flow type thing? And those are things you got to look at. So my point is that not always do I say invest. It is investing, but you got to decide what you're going to invest in and get the best return on your dollar. Even if I'm investing in my properties and lowering my bank payment, I can get that money back later when the times are better, that I can find properties that really make more money. There's a lot of different ways to leverage that. So just because you're giving it to the bank doesn't mean it's gone. And that's a whole other subject in itself. But the point being is take that money, figure out what's going to best get you to return or what you're wanting as far as an outcome, and invest it there. So
Okay, maybe we'll have to do this every quarter because I feel like it's different. It's
sure, I think that's a good idea because
it's different.
Yeah, it is different, and you learn. Sometimes you things get driven home, and you knew it, and you finally make yourself do it, or circumstances make you do it,
Yeah.
and you realize, damn, this is this is. I wish I'd done this before, but it is what it is. That's been my quarter, but it's been a really good 2025. I'm telling you.
Same.
Um,
Filled with lessons, right? It's filled with
absolutely,
lessons.
yeah. And I hope, and I say I hope, but they say that if you get through 2025, 2026 is going to be phenomenal
Well, that's the
with
goal.
all the things that are going on right now, and I hope that's the case, and I think it is. So, and actually, the fact that I think it is, I hope others think the same. That's really what the economy is, or even the stock market is motion
Yeah.
and how people feel.
Yeah.
So if you're all feeling positive about it, it's usually positive. So
Belief and buy-in. That's it. If you
that's
believe in
right.
it, you buy in. That's the whole thing.
So anyway, if you guys struggle with anything that we've talked about today, whether it be the last quarter or where to invest things or so forth, if it's something that you want to, in the show notes below, go ahead and click and make an appointment with me, and we'll have a breakthrough session on your business, and we talk about anything you want that you're struggling with. So go ahead. It's easy down below in the show notes. And as always, and I haven't said this many times, but I'm starting to hit that like button, hit that 5-star, that notification bell, comment on it, say that you're great, Chris, or you suck, and I'll figure it out. But do whatever you need to do. It helps that algorithm, is what I understand. So we'll make Google work for me instead. All right.
Yes, like it.
All right. You guys have a great week. We'll talk to you next week.